Let us start from the elementary facts. Though this is elementary, supposed to be very easy, but unfortunately it's very difficult also. So my request is kindly have little patience. Wherever you got doubts, stop me. I'll try to explain again and again, as many times as you want. But have some patience. When we start learning about astrology, first thing we are taught is the whole thing is called Dharma, Artha, Kaama, Moksha. Are fire, earth, air, and water. Why in this sequence? That's not good. Can you have a guess why this sequence? Normal sequence should have been Artha, then Kaama, then Dharma, then Moksha, which appears logical. But in this case, this is Dharma, then Artha, then Kaama, and then Moksha. If our seers, they chose this thing, there must have been something in their mind, awesome revelations, if that is the correct order. But entire astrology based on this. But unfortunately, this has not been explained. Neither Bhaava nor Purusha, nor from any other astrologers, they have tried to explain this thing. If this is the order, but why? Can you give a glass of water here? Our shastras are of two kinds. One is known as Shruti, other is Smriti. Normally we mistake for all the scriptures falling one part. The basic difference between the two is sometimes that is missing. So what is Shruti and what is Smriti? Are you aware of the fact, or should I try to explain it first? The difference between Shruti and Smriti. Bari Somay Kumar and Balakrishna and the others are allowed to speak. Anybody has got some idea about the Shruti and Smriti?
Shruti means hearing.
Hearing.
Smriti means memorization.
That's correct. That's literal meaning. But our scriptures, they are categorized in two parts only. Shruti, Smriti, and then later part is known as Puran. Puran, which you keep on reading and find new every time, and find some sort of entertainment, enjoyment with that. That's Puran. So new and old at the same time. So that third category. But first category is Shruti and Smriti. So unless we understand the difference between the two, we shall not be in a position to understand the order of Dharma, Artha, Kaama, and Moksha. Once we understand that, then we can go to some remedial or what we feel like. I leave to the audience. I think it's slightly difficult. I will try to explain this. What happened? Our seers, when they try to see so many things, like the diameter of Earth, distance of Earth and Sun, its speed, distance of Jupiter and Earth, Jupiter and Sun, so many things, which at that stage they could not measure physically. And if they measured, and that is correct till date, there is no difference. Whatever diameter of Earth, they found out at least 7,000 years earlier than today. Or whenever the present day science gave us, they were aware of those facts. How? The passage to reach there, a hint is given in the Rigved or Rigved. There is slight difference of pronunciation in north and south. In north it's Rigved and south is Rigved. So kindly, whenever I say Rigved, don't get confused. I am attuned to that pronunciation, though I do try to keep and say Rigved while I am in south. They say Rishis, they kept on thinking, and they came to conclusion that these facts, the mysteries of the universe, can be known only through meditation. And the sutra says, ध्यान योग अनुगता अपश्यन देवात्म शक्ति सुगण निगुड़ा ते ध्यान योग अनुगता अपश्यन. They went to meditation and then saw it. That is why they call Rishi. Rishi is one Rishio mantra drashtara, who could see the mantra, not write it, not hear it. They saw the mantra. In what manner? They went into the Dhyan Yoga. And then they found this Devatma Shakti, which is engulfing itself. So we cannot see directly. There is this energy, this power, and this power has got a veil of itself over it. So unless we take help of this Shakti itself, we cannot penetrate, cannot go beyond that. And the only way was to go through meditation. Now meditation of three kinds. Firstly, to have meditation you have to have pragya or prajna, as you call in South. So whenever I say pragya, can take a prajna. This is pure intellect. So firstly, you have to clean your intellect, remove all sorts of maya, all sorts of attachment, and try to concentrate on that. When you reach that stage, then you are ready for proper meditation. So that is stage of pragya. From pragya you shall reach two stages, and these are very interesting. First is sampragyat samprajnat samadhi. In this meditation, you go into deep contemplation with the idea of knowing something. So there is one person who is the knower, then something which is to know known, and the knowledge. Gyata, Gyan and Gye. All three are there, and he knows that. So he seeks an answer to those questions, and when comes out of meditation, he tells people, I found this answer. So this is only sampragyat samadhi for the normal Rishis. But there are persons who went beyond this also. What is that? That is asampragyat samadhi. In a samadhi where there is no knower, no knowledge, and no knowing, everything is gone. He is not trying to find out anything. He is not trying to do anything. Total still, total equilibrium, nothing to disturb, nothing to find out, nothing to do. So this purushartha is gone. That you sometimes might have heard rather, the Vedas are apurusheya. You must have heard this word somewhere. Apurusheya means where no effort is being done. Things are coming on their own. So in this asampragyat samadhi, a stage came when they start having revelations. That number stage must have had in the present time. They say Muhammad went to a hill and there he had this ilham. That means he was in this asampragyat samadhi where something is being told to him. He is not trying to find it out, but it's coming to him. Or Jesus, or Moses, they all went to their secluded place and went to deep meditation as something was being told to them without them trying to know it. When that stage comes, that the real revelation and no effort is being done, that all apurusheya. That's why our Vedas, the Rishis got the revelation and without making any effort, they got it. So all things which are apurusheya, when they came out of meditation and they told to others, that's known as Shruti. They just started speaking and disciples started writing. At that stage, not writing, trying to remember that. So all that was being told was Shruti, and whenever they tried to find out something, they were in Sampragyat Samadhi. It was all coming through their memory. This is all Smriti. So Vedas are Shruti, later Upanishads are Smriti. Entire Vedanta is Smriti and all Vedas are Shruti. So whenever you seek answer to a question which is not found anywhere else, you have to reach that apurusheya stage And there you shall get the answer that should be ultimate. So whenever you reach a stage where either on your own you keep on contemplating something, keep on thinking, keep on meditating, and all of a sudden you find, yes, there is another meaning to this particular word, sentence, or richaa, because all Vedas, they are not shlokas, they are richaas or mantras. Don't call them shlok. Shlok is later invention. That shall be the ultimate. So things which are not known to you, you have to go to Vedas. But Vedas you cannot just simply read and understand. That is a catch. Ashish, can you show those Gayatri Mantra as per Rigveda or Yajurveda? Gayatri Mantra. Then Gayatri Mantra, can you show it? Yajurveda or Rigveda, wherever you find. Almost everywhere. Now see the beauty of Gayatri Mantra as written in Veda and as we recite every day. Because what is written in Veda as Gayatri Mantra is not the mantra which we are reciting every day. And I told you just now, Veda ultimate authority. Then how come in Rig Veda or Yajurveda or even Samveda, this is written differently. Once we understand this fact, then we shall know how to understand Vedas. We look at, just write the Sunya Varanyam, it will come. Kindly wait for just 1 minute, you can look at. It's very interesting, it's a base. Once you understand that, the rest shall become very, very easy. Because Gayatri Mantra we all keep on doing every day. Right? And we think, Gayatri also knows Ved Mata. They say entire Ved flows with it only. Who has understood Gayatri, he has understood Ved. The first step towards knowing Ved is Gayatri Mantra. And Gayatri Mantra as flowing from Ved is different than what we are reciting every day. So I just want to clear the, yes, this is Gayatri Mantra as written in the Ved. All three Vedas write only this. If you notice, Om, Bhur, Bhuva, Swa is missing here. Right? And just now I said, Ved is ultimate. So, what does it mean? That means, Veds were never thought to be written like that. It is supposed to be told, Shruti, keep on listening, keep on memorizing. When this stage came, where Vedas were to be written, the Rishis do this particular thing that they put a password or a key to every richaa every month. Unless you put that password, it will not work. Like your computer, if you lock in the password, unless you put the password, the screen will not open. So keep on switching all keys, all sorts of whatever keys, everything you got, rotating the mouse, it will not work. It shall work only when the password is put. So password here is Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. Exactly like this. Every richaa of Ved, of any Ved, has got a password. Somewhere you have to add Om, somewhere you have to add Swaha, somewhere you have to add Swadha, somewhere you have to use Nama, somewhere all three. So every richaa of Ved has got this secret. And this secret has to be told to you by a proper guru. Or you also know it, provided you meditate on that particular mantra for a longer time. There will be two ways. So today I propose to take the first richaa of our Rigveda. Our tragedy is, you ask any Muslim, where from your Quran starts, and then and there, a very, very illiterate person who cannot write his name, residing in a remote village, but immediately say, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin, Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, so on and so forth, he'll recite. Very, very illiterate. You ask Christian, immediately start. Initially there was a word, what was with God? and so on and so forth. He may not know more, but this much he shall be knowing. You meet a Jaini, where from your lineage starts, immediately he will say, Namo Arhintanam, Namo Siddhanam, so on and so forth. You ask a Sikh, where from your lineage starts, he will say, Ek Onkar Saptam Karta Purukh, Nirvay Nirvay Ajuriye. But you ask a common Hindu, where from your lineage starts, about 95% not knowing what is first richaa of your, where from your dharma starts. This dharma which was known as bhaava dharma in the beginning, then became Sanatana dharma, now Hindu dharma. It keep on changing names. But where from it starts, they do not. Once you are not aware of the beginning, to think, to believe that would be knowing the meaning of it is still more difficult. And then what is hidden meaning behind it is still more difficult. So first let us see the beginning of our religion, where from the religion starts. Agni mere purohitam, yagyas devam ritujam, hotaram ratnadhati. This is the beginning of our religion, our dharma. The foundation of the common Indian and the foundation of our astrology. It has got 3 different meanings, minimum, might be 7, 11 or much more I do not know, but at least 3 I know, pertaining to Sat, Raj and Tam. One is totally social, one is totally spiritual, where from we shall draw our astrology, and one pertaining to civil administration. For society, for the nation, and for the self. 3 different meanings of this very mantra. As I told you in the beginning, to understand a mantra of Rigveda, we have to know how to read it. So first we shall put in 5 different parts. Then we shall try to understand its meaning. But have you shown the common meaning of it? Normal? Can you go back? I have not seen. I Lord Agni, the chosen priest, God, minister of sacrifice, the hoster, the legacy of wealth. That is very, very common meaning, literal meaning. But naturally I don't mean it. If that was so very simple, it is written by Max Muller. And he thought that I have understood Vedas. They have copied from Max Muller only. Now let's see the 5 different parts of it. Firstly, we have seen Purohitam Agnim Ide. Next is Yagyas Devam Agnim Ide. Ritujam Agnim Ide. Hotaram Agnim Ide and Ratnadhatmam Agnim Ide. So firstly we have to concentrate on what is Agni. And before we go to Agni, I would like to describe Agni. It's in 2 parts. One, the spiritual Agni, which is meant here. Other is the physical Agni. The spiritual Agni, or the Agni of the cosmic power, is what is within us. Without that, nobody can survive. If your temperature, your own body temperature, goes beyond 108, you will not survive. If it goes below 96, you will not survive. It's common fact. So even if we try to provide heat from outside, if it is gone below 96, the person cannot be kept alive. And if it goes beyond 108, howsoever ice you keep putting around, it will not work. Why? This is the fire of consciousness which keeps the person alive. If you read Lalita Sahasranam, the Devi has been described as Chidagni Kunda Sambhuta. The goddess born out of fire of consciousness. And that is how they say a lady has to be given preference over a man, because all ladies, they are born out of fire of consciousness. I don't mean men are not, but first right has been given to a lady born out of fire of consciousness. So this fire of consciousness keeps us alive. The moment this fire of consciousness goes, everything goes. So here, a reference has been made to that Agni, fire of consciousness, because of which we are surviving. That's why the first word used in Veda is Agni. We are all here because of this particular Agni, fire of consciousness. Then we have to see the different meanings of this Agni now. While keeping this definition in mind, this fire of consciousness. Because otherwise what happens? There are only two things involved: matter and energy. Energy transfers matter, matter transfers to energy. That's happening. That's what science tells us. But who is responsible for the conversion of matter to energy, energy to matter? This fire of consciousness. This makes this conversion possible. So meaning of Agni as per Panini grammar is Agni Agrani Bhavat. The first thing is Agni. Without Agni, nothing is possible. So whosoever is first in any line, anywhere, is to be equated with Agni. Whether a king, whether a social leader, all should have the qualities of Agni, or whether it be the first house lord, your Lagnesh, Lagna lord, first house, its lord has to be Agni. That is first definition. Similarly, Atma or Atma Tattva, or the house where Atma resides in horoscope, it has to have which Tattva? Fire. Right? So very first word gives us these things. Everything has to start from Agni. The leader has to have the qualities of Agni, and the first house ought to have Agni Tattva, and wherever the soul we put in the horoscope, whatever house we assign, we shall come to that later on, it has to be Agni Tattva. And not only this, wherever from we are going to draw our energy, the spiritual power, that house also has to have Agni Tattva, fiery house. So that means 1, 5, 9, these three houses are to have fire element. Having said that first tattva is to be considered in horoscope is Agni. What should be next? Let us see next. Ide will describe later on. Purohitam Agnim Ide. That is the next. When we decode it, we start from that place. Purohitam Agnim Ide. So there are three words. Agni we have understood. The next two words which have to be understood are Purohitam and Ide. Now come to Ide. It's slightly different pronunciation. A Tamilian can pronounce very correctly. It is a pronunciation La and Da both. So North Indians say Ile. If you see a North Indian book, they say like Ile. At central part, Maharashtra, they say Ide. But Tamilians say Ide. Very difficult to pronounce. It has both sounds. So on the safer side, I am using Ide. So Ide is to ask and to praise. They say we have to worship Agni first because it is doing the job of Prohit for us. Agni being present in our life in the form of Prohit, it ought to be worshipped first. So first house we have explained, first tattva we explained. So what is this Prohit? Now we shall try to understand that. The common meaning is domestic priest to the gods, that we all know. And nowadays it has become certainly ugly word. Nobody wants to become Prohit. Even sons of Raj Prohit, they do not want to become Prohit now. Slightly derogatory word. You have a person who is just surviving on the money of others and doing nothing. He is a Prohit. I am reminded of a very short story. I hope I have not told you earlier that once in the court of Lord Rama, a dog appeared. He was bleeding from the head. Ram gave him strength to speak. I said, "What is your problem?" He said, "I was sitting on the Rajmarg. That was a mistake. I was in the middle of the road. But such and such Panditji, you are passing through that road, and without making any sound to alert me, he straight hit me at my head." Ram said, "Yes, you are right." That particular Panditji Prohit was called in the court. After hearing both the sides, Ram said, "Yes, your offense is proved. You are guilty, should be punished." The dog says, "My lord, you allow me to suggest the punishment." Ram said, "No, this is not possible. The punishment has to be commensurate to the offense. For a simple theft, hanging cannot be awarded. That's I will only suggest. If it suits your logic, accept or reject it. Okay, what do you want?" The dog says, "In your kingdom, the biggest mutt has got no mathadis for last 6 months. That is vacant. I want that he should be made mathadish of that mutt." The entire court said, "This is punishment or reward?" Ram said, "I want only that." Ram said, "In case you are happy with that, I will do that." Immediately, Jalam for Abhishekam was called, and he was to give Abhishek, Swastina Hendro, Vadasrava, etc., etc., and he was made mathadish. That day, mathadish used to have the status of the king. So this, a gold palanquin was called, elephants, horses, all are put in service, and his procession started. The procession hardly got 100 meters, dog came back and said, "Sir," I said, "that mutt is vacant for last 6 months, and my age is 6 months. I was sitting there. I was mathadis, taking everything from society, but not returning it. That's why I got this day. He is going happy right now. You know, later on. So unless a Prohit who is doing hit of the poor, looking after well-being of the poor, wherever he is Prohit, in whatever form he is Prohit, he is committing a sin. Though he might be enjoying everything, but unless you do something commensurate to your status, to the perks, to the privileges you are enjoying, your end is going to be very bad. So first is domestic peace of words. Our meaning is not this. That's it. One who is ensuring the well-being of poor. Correct. One who got the interest of poor in his thoughts. Same thing. And in astrological parlance, the lagna. Why lagna? Let's go back to poor. You see what is poor? So as you see, Pur is a town, a city. Very clear. A castle, a fortress, a stronghold, residence, the body. So if we consider these, one of the meanings you'll find out is your own body and your entire chart, horoscope. That is also Pur. So one who is the lord of this Pur, or this body, is called Lagnesh. He has to be given the status of the fire, the king, and he shall be responsible for all the activities of that particular horoscope. So whatever is going to happen in the horoscope shall depend on the Lagnesh first. If Lagnesh is very weak, all the planets, how strong they may be, they shall not be in a position to give results or full certification of the possibilities, promises shown in the horoscope. And that is why the best of the combinations are where Lagnesh also contributing. Otherwise also, going by this Agni Tattva, 159, when it combines with your center, the yoga is formed. Because of this Agni Tattva only. So unless the Agni Tattva is put, it contributes in that contribution. The other combinations are not going to give full results. So this Dharma Purushartha ought to be first Purushartha, number one. Number two, lagna has to be given prominence in your horoscope. And third, in case you find any problem in horoscope, the first planet to be attended to is lagna. If you do not strengthen lagna rod, by whatever means we can discuss later on, rest of the remedies shall not work. It should be absolutely clear as per the first richaa of Rigveda. Now, next that they say, Yagyasya Devam Agni Ide. We must praise Agni because through it only we are getting benefits of all Agni. Now, what is Yajna? Yagya. Now, we have to see different meaning of Yajna. Dear sir, Yajna first. We have not written this Yajna. With different meanings of it. This I'll explain. Anyway, hold on, since you put it there, they have quoted one shloka from Gita. This may also help understanding what is Yajna. They say first thing, Ānanda bhavanti bhutani. Our this Panch Bhuta is made from An. But where from the An is coming? Parjanya. Ānanda bhavanti bhutani, Parjanyad Anna Sambhava. Only Parjanya are responsible for this creation of Anna. And how this Parjanya comes from? Agyat bhayo Parjanya. Parjanya is coming from Yajna. Agyat. From Isna. This Parjanya is coming. And where from the Yajna is coming? Yajna karma samudbhava. Only by doing your prescribed karma, you are doing Yajna or Yajna. In case prescribed karma is not being done, so whatever else you are doing is not Yajna. Normally we understand if we are putting some home, doing some homam, swaha, at least swaha, that swaha, and that's ultimate Yajna. Lord Krishna says no, it is not so. Only when you are doing the prescribed duty, prescribed actions you are taking, then you are doing Yajna. Just by modulating your breath, you are doing Yajna. The next shloka says, in case you can control prana and apana vayu both, you are doing Yajna. In case you are in a position to control in what manner you inhale and exhale, it is another Yajna. Similarly, if you are doing all actions as prescribed in Vedas, you are doing Yajna. So only putting ahuti in fire is not Yajna. It is something more than that. Of course, I am not saying in case you are doing home, you are not doing Yajna. You are doing Yajna that also. That is also one of the prescribed forms. But not the first. That's the lowest. In the hierarchy, there is lowest. First is whatever prescribed actions you are supposed to take in a particular situation, that is the real Yajna. So here is one to cause sacrifice, to assist sacrifice, but more than all these ritualistic meanings, Yajna karma samudbhava. By doing proper karma, you are doing it. And this fire, it is helping us in doing this prescribed karmas. Therefore, this fire is to be worshipped. So once we come to the next stage of prescribed karmas, that means we are talking about karma purushartha or artha purushartha. So next house has to be what? After dharma, then artha. Whether you say in Hindi or English, same meaning here. Even if you say artha as per English, it will come to same house, same sequence. And if you say in Devanagari or Hindi or Sanskrit karma, artha, same thing. That is why Chanakya wrote Arthashastra, combining everything in one. You must have read about Chanakya and Arthashastra. So that is why he wrote Arthashastra. People mistake that a person of caliber Chanakya, and he wrote Arthashastra without understanding. He is talking about all prescribed karmas, what a king should do. That is why it's Arthashastra. Otherwise, people think it must be some book on the economy. Earth is finances, they think only. It's not finance alone. The real meaning is the prescribed things which a person has to do. So next purushartha is Kal purushartha. The very first word, first you can say is Dhar purushartha, and then come down to Artha purushartha. Next is sorry, go back. One thing left out. Devas Sevada I left out, I'm sorry. Their word is said, Dim Prakashane, one who highlights. To shine, be bright, to praise, to glad, to rejoice, to wish, to bring to the light. This is the real meaning which here is meant. The purushartha through which the lagnesh highlights past karmas and present karmas, and through which the Kal purushartha is to be done, has to come next to Dhar purushartha. And this is to be done through the spiritual fire or the fire of consciousness. So this fire of consciousness helps us in finding out and highlighting what Artha purushartha we have to do right now and what we have done in previous lives, because of which we are here. Somebody has got a different set of parents, very difficult to handle. Somebody has got difficult children, and then they keep on saying, oh, I'm very unlucky. My son is doing this, my daughter is doing this, I'm worried by my mother-in-law, daughter-in-law. But they forget. Your own fire of consciousness is highlighting these events. These were to take place in your life. You had no escape. They were there precautionary. This has to be highlighted. Your fire of consciousness is bringing forth only what you did in the past, what you are doing right now that's being recorded, and what you shall do in future. That also being recorded in this supercomputer. Now let's move to third. Dithyajam Agni. This was very difficult to decode. Rather, the whole sequence, this was the most difficult. Because Dithyaj word has got a normal meaning. Dithyaj. Firstly, put the Dithyaj only. See it. Sacrificing the proper season and regularly. That's good. So normally once we again talk about yajna, sacrifice. So where from we can decode this Kaama purushartha? Appears slightly difficult. Dhar purushartha very easy, coming directly from fire. Artha also very easy. But when we came to this Dithyajam Agni Ide, it became very difficult. For some time even I thought, maybe there is some mistake. It cannot mean Kaama purushartha. Then thought came to my mind. The seers at that time, if they had thought about Dharma, Kaama, Moksha, it was not a coincidence, and all the Rishis later on, they all followed without a break. Nobody ever questioned, no, it is not correct. All agreed. There ought to be hidden meaning to this word. So then we came to this thing. We have to break this word. Ritu plus age. Go back please. So we broke this word Ritu plus age. Any age as per Ritu. Now let's see the meaning of Ritu. First is season. That means timing. That's not the important. And the next one you can read. Everybody knows that, so I did not discuss that. Then time, event, fixed order, rule, even speed to go and to light. So two things are very clear. One, they talk about timing. They talk about a particular period about in the females, without which the further procreation is not possible. And one of the sacred duties of the man is, Ashish, one of the sacred duties which a person has to do. I don't mean anyway. We can also leave it here. No, not this one. The sacred duty cast on the man. He has to procreate. Anyway, if you go by Gita, there is shlok. On one hand, Lord Krishna says, I am cause of this procreation. I should be held in that capacity. On other hand, he says, Trividham Narkasya Dwaram. There are only 3 gates of the hell. And the first one is Kaama. So on one side he says, it's the gate to the hell. And other side he says, no, I am also, you can see me in it. I am the Kamdev. So appears to be a contrast. But resolution of this contrast helps understanding the real meaning hidden behind it. Next one. Now if you see Taittiriya Upanishad, this should come first and that later on. They said this is sacred duty of every man, that he has to leave his legacy in his own form. This system of man to man, further generation, need not be broken, cannot be broken, should not be broken. So this applies to all the human beings except those who have become sannyasi. Sannyasi means samnyas. You're going from the system out of, you're not part of the system. But as long as you're part of the system, one of your duties is that you have to leave a human legacy. Everybody should have santan. Everybody is to have santan. And that is why in earlier days they used to say, in case you don't have a son, then you shall not go to heaven. They used to feel like that. But here idea was only thing. The Upanishad says no. Only you should have president, must have children. There is no distinction of daughter or son. Unfortunately, in those days, they took it only as a son. But here, if you see, the meaning is ought to have a child. Whether a male or female, son or daughter, there is no distinction. But what you have to have. So in that form, as long as you are doing this sacred duty cast on you, you are aligning with Lord Krishna yourself. But in case this activity is only for pleasure, then it is one of the doors to the hell. Tirdham narkasya dwaram nasnam atna kamaha krodha tatha lobha tasmat etat trayam tyajet. You ought to leave the 3. Kam, then krodh, and then lobha. Only 3. So if you combine these 3 statements from Upanishad, it leads to Rityajam Agni Ide. We have to hail the Agni because it is responsible for these activities of the Ritu. Without this fire of consciousness, you cannot have a child. You cannot continue the system of generation. This has to continue. This has to keep on going. So therefore, the third purushartha has to be Kaama purushartha. Any doubts? I said this is quite heavy, I know. But in case any doubts anywhere, please do stop me. Do not hesitate. I myself took a very long time understanding this. So I do not expect that within 20 minutes, 30 minutes you will immediately swallow all this as a pill. It cannot be homeopathic medicine, sweet and easy to digest. In fact, it's Ayurvedic and very sour. Difficult to drink, but giving better results. Beauty of Ayurvedic medicine is, it takes little time, but then cures completely. Allopathic medicine just suppresses the disease. And what is disease? One which is dis plus ease. Anything which is disturbing your ease, your disease. So your ease is being disturbed, then ought to be reversed. So it can be reversed only through Ayurveda, not through allopathy. So therefore, taking Ayurvedic medicine, it is difficult, hard to swallow or chew. So kindly, wherever you feel there is doubt, or you are not in agreement with me, say, I don't agree here, I find some sort of doubts. I will stop and try to explain again. So third purushartha is then Kaama purushartha. So I believe that I have been able to successfully explain Dharma purushartha, Artha purushartha and Kaama purushartha. So I should proceed to fourth, right? Go ahead. So this is Hotaram Agni Mide. We should praise the Agni as it is responsible for this activity of Hotaram. Now Hotaram, if you go by word only, it means to invoke something, invite somebody and to offer something. So it appears how it could be connected to Moksha Purushartha. If Ritujam was difficult, it is still more difficult. But in case you have gone to any good cremation ground where they keep on putting so many things on the walls, normally we go with a dead body, cremation done, we keep silent for some time and come out and start in our own rituals, everyday rituals, which we keep on forgetting till we are there inside. So one of the things which are written in all good cremation grounds is Ajurved 40.15. Have you read it? You must have seen in cremation grounds but not noticed it. It's very important. It is saying two things. Firstly, Vayu, Anilam. Now, Anil is also Vayu, Vayu is also Vayu. So this creates doubt. Why they are referring to Vayu again and again? But as I said, the Veds, you have to see from inner eye, not from outer eye. Because the Rishis and the Seers, they see through it, inner light only. These are what they saw. Amritam at idam, Bhasmantagam Shariram. This Bhasmantam, actually in the Vedas say Bhasmantagam Shariram. The word comes gum. Normally we can't print it, can't write, so we write Bhasmantam. Otherwise it is Bhasmantagam Shariram. So this body is being burnt. And what is remaining is Om Krito Smar, Krito Smar, Krito Smar, Krito Smar. One side they say Krito and other side Krit. O Atma, now remember what you have done. Only two things are remaining with you. This Sukh Sharir and your actions. Everything else is left behind. Nothing is going with you. Only two things. This is the final offering which you could have offered. Normally, when we are alive, we offer wheat, rice, ghee and other things in Homam. But this is the final Homam. Your own body is being offered here. Everything shall be burnt in that fire. And what shall remain? Only you and your karmas. And when I say you means your Sukh Sharir. Only Sukh Sharir shall remain. Rest everything is going to be burnt. So when we are making a final offering and everybody thinks that I have finished all my duties, all my karmas are over, and finally I have offered my body. So I am entitled to what? I have offered my body, burnt everything here, nothing is remaining, finished. So I am entitled to moksha. If not in this very life, decide next life. I am very close to it. Every human being thinks that whatever I am doing is right, what others are doing is wrong. Therefore I am entitled to, and they keep on saying, he knows everything. When everybody is right and he says he knows everything, then who is wrong? Somebody has to be wrong. So only those persons who have been able to identify their own mistakes in this very life and try to rectify, they are advancing towards that goal, towards that gate. Otherwise, everybody thinks, I am right, I am wrong. We forget that in this life, whatever is coming in front of us is the reward of our own karma in the previous life. In fact, the person who is giving any pain or pleasure to us, he is doing the duty of a postman or a courier wala. It's like that. You book somebody something from Mysore and go to Bangalore. And this courier wala, he brings your packet after a month or so because of the delivery system. And you start fighting with him. Why you brought it? You say, what can I do? You booked it about a month back. Today I was supposed to deliver, I am delivering it. I am the delivery man. I am not responsible for what's in this packet. You are going to put it here. That happens with us every day. Whenever you go somewhere and somebody is praising you, putting garland, you think he is also postman, or courier wala, bringing this garland or a flower. And in case somehow he humiliates you, again you think, this humiliation was come to me today, and this poor girl is just a courier wala who has brought it. Almost not meant to you. But what happens? We start fighting with that man. And that is how new karma is being generated. This is the cause of creation of new karmas. Unless we accept whatever comes in our way as it is, that's how Lord Krishna says, Sukh Dukkhe Samay Tattva. Labha Labho. We remember that. We all remember that, but don't implement. When it is Jai, all are very happy. When it's Parajay, we don't accept it. I've never seen somebody who is being given a gold medal and he would have questioned, why to me? There are others also who are equally competent to hold this. Nobody questions them. But in case somebody is wrong someday, why to me? Why? Of all these persons, this has come to me only. In case you're going, there is accident and you break your bones, your leg or hand. First question, why to me only? There are 40 passengers in that bus or train. But why to me only? Isn't it? But I have never seen anybody who has questioned, why this gold medal to me? Why this service to me? There are a number of persons who without doing anything get selected to video services, premier service of the country. But nobody has ever questioned, why to me? But in case somebody is wrongly suspended and he has not done that act, he decidedly questions, why to me? But we forget, these are all packets booked by us in a previous life. These are to be delivered to us at these particular points of time. These are different offerings. But the day we realize all this, only then our bhogas start diminishing, finishing, stopping further. Our further generation of karmas and bhogas stops. And that is how I will show you also how we take birth and how the lagna is formed. What decides in which lagna we are to be born. And what are factors about time of birth, how this Atma reacts. But this was our final offering to this Agni, Lord Agni, or to Supreme Lord. And since it is the final offering, so that is nothing but the final purushartha, and that final purushartha is moksha purushartha. Otherwise also, if you see in the sequence, this air creates water, fire, and it has the double qualities. The air can prolong the fire, make it stronger, or may finish it also. Similarly, water comes from fire, and this fire has got both the qualities. It can evaporate water, and it may also get finished by the water. So everything in this life is supplementing, complementing each other. Each and every action we take in this life is either supplementary or complementary. It's only when we stop as simply complementing, we attain moksha. So that is how we go to dharma, artha and kaam and moksha.